All right, so welcome to Coaching Unplugged. I am excited because tonight we are talking about overcoming the past and having the ability to move forward and what that looks like. And actually sitting with me virtually is my brother Stefannoire, aka Steven. This brother is an amazing cat. Excited to be able to talk with him about this subject. Before I do anything, make sure, of course, that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm not gonna tell you again, so we can make sure that you never miss an episode. Because I'm telling you, I'm dropping gems. I'm getting more comfortable. As you can see, I got a microphone this time, so obviously I came. I'm not playing around. I ain't come to play with you. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna start off with something a little different, something I haven't done yet, and that's opening up in prayer. So with this being and started in season, a new season, I just ask God that He will just touch you right now. I ask that wherever you are at, in your mind, body, and soul, that God prepares a message that's going to move you in the right direction. I do believe that I'm called to bring you a message that's going to give you some enlightenment and be a change in your life. And I ask God that He will allow this message, this platform right now in this space, wherever you're at, to be a vehicle of change, to be a vehicle of movement for you in your life, to break barriers, to allow you to be better than who you were yesterday, to be better than what you're going to be tomorrow, and just be able to allow you to just move forward, because that's essentially what this is going to be about tonight. And we just ask God and for his praise, and ask God for His blessings, and we thank Him abundantly. Amen. Okay, cool. So now we got that out of the way, because that was most important. I want to make sure we go ahead and get right into it. So, Steve, man, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. Just calling on the home office right now. I'm actually house sitting for a friend of mine, a fellow Marine I served with. He and his wife are somewhere, and they're like, "Hey, man, I need you to watch the house." I said, "Yeah." So here I am.
Okay, yeah, it looks like a very well staged house in the background. I was gonna say I might as well want to do a tour or something if I need to go ahead and pay some rent or something like that.
Chauncey, I'm over here like, look, man, like I know you married and everything, but pretty sure you could use roommates somewhere in this house. Nah.
Yeah, man. So listen, I spoke to a young guy last night. He didn't want to be recorded, but I did ask for his permission that we will basically talk about his particular situation and where he's at in life. So over the weekend, I should say, he reached out to me. This gentleman reached out to me after watching one of my videos on YouTube, and said, hey, DM me or whatever. I was like, look, I'm going through something. I need your help. I said, well, what's going on? Well, I feel stuck. I feel in a place of not being able to move forward. I'm not having a good time in where I'm trying to go. I feel lost. I feel stuck. He said, I want to go into criminal justice, and I want to actually do some things that are going to be centered around, doing great things and all that stuff. But I don't know how to get there. I feel like I'm stagnant. And my spirit, in my heart, I don't feel like I have all the tools to get there and what that would look like. So we spoke for a good, I think it was about an hour, almost an hour, but I broke down for him a couple of things and what he should do. Before I even kind of share what I talked to him about, I wanted to ask you, when somebody is coming, when you feel like that feeling of that sin of stagnation, or feel like you're stuck, what is something that you do to overcome that? How do you build onto your next step to say, okay, I need to get out of this rut?
Wow, you started off really strong. Okay. I'm over here writing, kind of writing stuff down. And I'm like, how do you get out of stagnation? How to get out of a rut? That one's a little interesting because we all hit those. But first things you got to do is realize that, first of all, it's normal. I know when I'm like, for me in business, there are days when, like, I have my dry seasons and I have my harvests. So, like, when I'm in those dry seasons, like, you got to keep doing what you're doing. It's very similar to working out and lifting. If you keep doing the same thing, if you keep doing the same regimen, eventually your body's going to get used to it, and you're going to get no gains. You're not going to lose any weight. You're not going to gain any muscle. You know what I mean?
I
It's the same
understand.
thing. So what you have to the best thing I realized, or at least I've noticed from that, is if you want to get out that rut, you have to do something a little bit different.
Sure.
Again, Yeah, if you're driving, like, example, I was doing a cross country trip in past September, and my friend and I, we went down to like the mountains of Utah. Sleep underneath the stars, all that kind of good stuff. She over here told me to go turn left over here, so I turn left, get stuck in a rut, literal rut, and she's slamming on the accelerator, and we're getting stuck deeper and deeper and deeper. But if you stop, take a moment, you reverse, you do a little something different, you're good. You eventually get yourself out.
Well said, and I would agree with you. It's funny that you mentioned that particular type of analogy or that situation, because I broke it down from an analogy based on how much time do you want to add to your destination. So if you're using a GPS on your phone and you have a destination to get from Virginia all the way to New York City, if you make a couple of stops, how much more time is it going to take for you to get to your destination to New York? So essentially, I told them, I said, that's the thing about when it comes down to where you're going in your life, your destination. You have this vision of yourself being in law enforcement, and all that is wonderful. I think that's great to be passionate about protecting and serving and, investigative stuff. All that's great. But if you take so much more time, feeling like you're in this place that you can't get there, you're adding more time to get there. So when I spoke about that, we started to get in depth about the past. So a lot of times, even for myself, the past has been one of those reminders of where I was, and feeling like I couldn't move forward because I'm keep on thinking about like the past is eating me up. I've seen some things I probably shouldn't have seen as a kid. I have, and this is from my own personal experiences, seeing, situations that are, necessarily you don't see every day, as far as different family adult conversations, as far as that goes. So, being a kid I was bullied a little bit too, I had issues, emotional, being able to how to express myself, all these different things that I remember being able to experience that maybe not everybody is used to. How can I take from taking that experiences and put that away so it doesn't affect me going forward? And I basically said to him, look, I've been through it, but you have to be able to say, okay, let me box that in and put that in a special place to where I'm accepting it, I'm acknowledging it. But speaking your truth was a way of doing that. What do you think about that? Speaking your truth, speaking that of your past, to be able to give therapy for your future. How do you feel about that?
The past can certainly shackle a man as surely as irons. Um, just listening when you were going through all that, I remembered this lady. I took like that. I don't know if you're familiar with like the landmark courses.
Oh, I have not heard of it.
Yeah, well, personal development course. I think it was like 2 days or something like that. This is years back. But what stuck out the most to me was this woman, because there was a segment talking about the past. It was this woman, and she like in her late 60s, and she was talking about how unhappy she is in every single relationship she's ever been in. And she, like, so they peeled her back a little bit, and then she revealed that she was sexually assaulted as a child, and she held on to that since then. And I'm over here thinking to myself, this woman is 60 years old, and again, that's a horrible trauma. No human being should ever go through any form of sexual assault, but you can't. You've let that affect every single relationship, and now you're 60. You're in your 60s, and this is still affecting you as if you were still that little kid.
Mm.
That's a problem. Again, I've been, like what you said, I've been teased before. Again, you can tell by my voice, I don't sound like the typical black guy, especially from Chicago, Illinois.
Right.
I don't sound like that. So again, I got teased a lot on the military. I got teased. Yeah, I had past relationships that didn't work out that still kind of haunt me to this day.
Mm.
But um, one of the best advice I got was, it was just another analogy. If you're driving a car, you can't drive to your destination while looking at the rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, every single hero needs an origin story.
Sure. Now, I want to be able to highlight on something that you said that struck a chord with me a little bit. And you've been on the show before. We spoke, candidly, and I know we have an episode on there, and it was great. So, but I want to highlight on, when it comes down to how people perceive us and see us as Black men. And I think, one of the things I have shared, may have shared with you briefly before too, is that I was teased because of how I speak. I tend to speak with a lot, what they call the educated or proper, or whatever, they used to call it. You're trying to talk like you're not your race. And I think that was so messed up because, the thing about it is that it can be farther from the truth, because at the end of the day, I know how to secure the job, how to secure the bag. You see what I'm saying? If you don't know how to be versatile in the way your communication skills are, you're going to have a hard time getting anywhere in life, period. And especially if you're thinking about this, the whole individual mindset, well, people should just accept me for who I am. Hey, you know what? There might be some truth to that. You may be that person to accept, for who you are, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day is, are you cultured enough? Are you approachable? Are you coachable? You see what I'm saying? Can you be able to not necessarily think of this one mindset that is going to hold you back? And so that's my whole play of it. So when I hear you speak that, brother, I will say that, listen, I've gone through it. I know exactly what it is. I just know that, and I will say this too, between who you are, the kind of person that you are as a Black man, the kind of same person like myself, not everybody's going to be for us, period. That's just what it is. Let's just keep it up and honest. If you're somebody that's watching this video, your situation where somebody has said something to you, called you out for being different, this and that. Look, you ain't got to be anybody else but yourself. You are the author, you are the writer of your own storyline. Who gives a damn what anybody says about where you're supposed to be and talk like and this or walk like? You make sure that at the end of the day, people respect you. And so how you coming off? But I know I'm going on a tangent here. So I'm
No,
going back. You see what I'm saying? But I'm trying to
yeah,
get you. I'm trying to get these young men where they need to go going forward, and not let these people dictate the negative, mindset to where they should be. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
it makes perfect sense. And again, it's one of the things that I had to realize is, again, when you was talking about, like, at least I can get a job, secure the bag and stuff like that. It's the ability to pivot. And that's the most important thing that us as men need to have, is the ability to pivot and also to blend in any situation. Again, I'm pretty sure you can do the same thing I can do. I can sit here and talk to with people with CEOs in a boardroom and those executives, or I can talk to a bunch of brothers in the streets over there playing craps. Mm-hmm. And again, the most important thing is, first of all, who are you living your life for? If you're living your life for other people, then yeah, you're going to sit here and be shackled and over here have this identity crisis. Mm-hmm. But if you're living your life for yourself, if you're just trying to please yourself, you're just trying to please God, then it doesn't matter what everyone else is saying.
Right.
And, again, the most important thing, again, is having good character. Man, it's about being respected, especially as men. It's about respect. Mm-hmm. And that comes down to having good character. Again, good character will save you from a lot. And even if people do give you trash about it, at the end of the day, they still respect you because you are a man of moral character. That's very hard to find.
Absolutely. And that's the key thing about it, because listen, I have definitely been in situations where I've been tested and I've let the enemy use me in a place where my integrity was questioned, or the way, my thinking was messed up, or I was making decisions that were detrimental to not only myself, but other people. And so you have to be able to reevaluate what your plan is of action, understanding that where you came from doesn't have to determine where you're supposed to be, where you're headed towards. Again, you have a different life plan. You don't have to have the same life plan as somebody else, but you best make sure that the plan that you have in place is strategic. It's strategically thought out. Now, I can blame a lot of things that, hey, are not necessarily in my control. But am I going to live life? Am I going to continue living life with the expectation or thinking that I'm going to put the blame on somebody else? Or am I going to make a conscious effort on what I can do based on what I can control? So that's the whole key about it is too, Steve, is making sure these people understand, these young men understand, is that you are controlling what you can do. So what does that look like? Handle your priorities. What does your priorities look like? I have a video that I'm going to be doing featuring Kevin Samuels talking about high value male, what that looks like. I'll be posting that tomorrow, whatnot, having that up there. But it's one of the take I take from that is being able to increase that value is basically handling your business. What are you doing now to get you to that next step? You got to be able to let go of fear, because that's honestly the biggest word I'm gonna tell you that I've had is fear, because fear will hold you back. Fear will keep you in a stagnation place all day long. It's a sin. It's something that's corrupt for you in your spirit, in your mindset. You got to let go of fear. So, and
Honestly,
what do you
I'm
think
sorry.
about it, man?
Honestly, I don't even think it's about letting go of fear, but it's about going through fear. There's nothing wrong with being afraid, but do it anyway. Again, with me and my business and what I do, again, I still have those anxieties of, okay, again, I'm new, I still have my startup going on over here, and I'm still trying to get clients and, I have to talk to friends and family to, kind of get the word out there. And I'm afraid of their opinion, but I still pick up that phone anyways. I still let them know, I still have the conversation anyways, because nothing's going to happen if you let fear. It's one of the tools of the devil. I don't know if you've ever read this book, Outwitting the Devil.
I haven't, but that sounds like a dope book for me to get.
If you heard of if you read Think and Grow Rich, it's by the same author.
Okay.
Powerful book, and it's basically like this. The authors actually have like a simulated conversation, kind of like we're having, but it's with him and the devil. And the devil is just over here giving out all his tools, all his plans on how he keeps people shackled. And one of them is saying that living in belief. And he says, I cannot enter the minds of men until they are afraid.
Mm.
Once I know that they are afraid of something, then I can come in. So, and it's really powerful again, but I would say there's nothing wrong with being fearful, but you have to do it anyways. Again, you focus on what you can control. Again, if it's the people around you, if you can't change your people, then
Mm.
change your people.
I'm
If you
so glad you say that. I know I sound a cliche when I'm saying, hey, I'm like, I'm agreeing with you. No, this ain't that regular, podcast or video where everybody, oh yeah, I agree with them. No, I legitimately agree that when it comes down to it is you got to change your circle. You got to change your circle. Who is your circle? And I told this young man yesterday, I said to him, I said, look, who do you look like? Who do you look to that's going to hold you accountable? Because accountability plays a big part in where you're trying to go. Quite frankly, I will say for him, I said, look, you got municipalities, I'm using these big words, you got these municipalities and city organizations, and you got police that's, you can call 911 if you want. I don't call 911, but you can call up these precincts, wherever your local offices or whatever, and find the people actually that will take you under their wing, because you got people like that will want, challenge you and keep up with you and say, hey, are you doing this? Are you going? It's a step-by-step process. I didn't become, a homeowner and moving up to DC, all that stuff overnight. That stuff took time. I had to build my character. I had to get with the right people. I had to prove myself. And I always say this too. Make sure that once you make a solid connection with somebody, if you truly have a desire to grow up in your community or nationally, or do whatever it is you want to do, make sure you have sound connection, people that can vouch for who you are, sound people, because those quality people, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not so focused about trips to Miami, all that stuff. They focus about getting money. They focus on doing well. They focus about being a factor in the community, someone that's actually have importance. That's what true high value people, they're not focusing on a lot of foolishness. You see what I'm saying? So you got to connect with people. Don't burn bridges. That's my next word with you. Don't burn bridges. You never know where you may need somebody. You
down
see
the
what I'm
road, you
saying?
never know if you'll need that
You
person.
never know. It's somebody. Let me tell you something. I had a situation where I think I had posted something online on Facebook or whatever, saying, hey, I could just, if anybody can know where I can find, XYZ. I got a message from somebody I haven't talked to in years, but they stayed connected with me. You see what I'm saying? And was like, hey, I got a position for you. I got this situation for you. Come on now. The God will use people if you use them right. If you do right by people, period. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta treat people right. You got to not burn bridges. That's what you never know where you're next. I kind of think of it like this analogy. I know I'm kind of going on a rant, but I gotta speak this one right here. Think of the steps. Think of like a couple steps. So you got a step that's in front of you. You want to get to that next step. The person that's already there on that step can pull you up and help you up to that next step. But you have to be someone that is, have your hands, when you actually have your hands, you don't have your hands closed. You have your hands open because you're ready to receive what blessing may come to you. But you got to be obedient. You got to be patient. You have to not burn bridges. I'm gonna say that. What you gonna rock with on this one, man?
Well, just for that last point, it reminded me of it was actually one of the very first things in business I learned. I was 19 years old, and like my mentor during that time, his name was Aaron Pauly. Never forget this man. He said this to me, and it stuck with me. Well, again, I'm 30, almost 31 now. So he says, "Success leaves clues unless you're clueless."
Mm.
Again, so even if you don't have a mentor, there are plenty of people who can be your mentor. Again, if you just use this gentleman as an example, he wants to get into law enforcement. Again, find someone who's already where you want to be. Do what they did. You will get there. And again, just kind of, I've been taking so many notes. One of the, dropped my pen. One of the other things is, especially for young men, first of all, you have to learn how to play chess and not checkers. And it's one of the traps that I fell into in my 20s. Is I wanted to sit here and secure this bag and be rich while I'm young. First of all, that I was about to cuss. I don't know. So we already started out praying. I don't want to sit here.
You good?
That's overrated. You want freedom again, and you won't have that if you're have like a couple like $1,000 when you're young. You want millions by the time you're 40.
Right.
That's freedom. And you get, and men, we age like wine. So you still young enough, you can still have all the fun in the world.
That's right.
And you are free.
That's right.
Because you've already built your path, you've already like grinded, and now you're free. That should be the goal. Again, a great book recommendation. Again, I'm just going off of what you were saying with focus on what you can control. Is a book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It was basically like the Stoics Bible.
Okay.
And yeah, again, never burn bridges or anything like that. But like the main thing that the main advice I would, not even advice, but the main thing I would even say is that when you're talking about those the steps, focus on getting to the next step. Me, I was a video game geek growing up. So it's like, okay, it says steps. I look at it as levels. So how do you get to the next level? Like, I don't know if you ever played Pokemon or like, like.
Oh yeah, man, I played it.
Or Final Fantasy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to do like X, Y, and Z to get to this next level. Okay, well, for us as men, how do we get to the next level? Is first of all, it's by the associations. You already touched them. We are the 5 people that we hang around with the most. So if you're hanging around 5 millionaires, likely you're going to be the 6th. You're hanging around 5 bums who are either in jail or dead. You might be the 6th one. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
By association.
So you level up that way. You level up by the books you read. Again, I already gave out 2 really great book recommendations.
And I would love for you to make sure that you send those to me so I can add those links.
Absolutely.
I can send the links for these young brothers can go ahead and buy those.
Absolutely. And the last one is the meetings you attend. And what I mean by meetings is I like using that young man who wants to get into law enforcement as an example. Again, I'm pretty sure there are meetup groups or like even if it's virtual, like what we're doing, that you can sit here and be around brothers who are on the same path as you. Or like, I'm pretty sure like, there's some law enforcement class or seminar or networking group. Heck, I actually met someone who is in law enforcement trying to network with some people on the Bumble business.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So it's like there's so many ways out there. Again, you just gotta think it's not even about thinking out the box. It's just how bad you want it.
It's true. That's true.
if you don't want it that bad, that's cool, but you can't complain.
That's
You
true.
can't complain. You sit here, you lower your dreams down to where your ambition is. But if you really want it bad, then it doesn't matter how. The how doesn't matter. You're going to get it done.
Quite frankly, completely agree with you on that. There are resources out here to get it. I like the fact that you brought up Bumble Biz, because Bumble, in essence, is a social, well, has a dating aspect to it, has a friends aspect to it, but it has a business aspect to it. So you can find it on the App Store or the Play Store, whichever works best for you on your device, and connect. I'm on Bumble as well. I'm on Bumble Biz, and I've connected with a couple people that are doing a lot of different things. And you always say you never know who is in your
That's
area.
how we met.
That's how we met, right? That's how we met. I almost forgot that, but yeah, that's how we met. So there are opportunities, there are connections to be had. This is who I am, man. This is what I'm about, and so I'm always going to connect with people like yourself. 100%. Thank you first of all for your time tonight, because I think we knocked out of the park. What do you think?
Hell yeah, man. If anything, if anything, there's a couple of gems sprinkled in here, but
Oh,
I think we crushed it, bro.
no doubt, no doubt. Listen, I truly appreciate your time, man, and always know that this is a safe space for young people, and a safe space for us to be able to unpack. Let us know what you think in the comments. What would you say you would take from this? Is there something else that you wanted to maybe add, that you would want to be able to see for yourself going forward as far as what's holding you back? Let us know something. Maybe I can do another video about it. Would love to be able to talk about it. Otherwise, always be safe. Stay strong, stay covered, stay cultured, stay unplugged. Peace.